The reality is that increasingly our public markets have become short-term. When I went public 26 years ago, investors held stock on average for 4 years. Today, the average shareholder is holding it for under 4 months. What that means is shareholders are no longer buying slices of our companies. They're essentially renting that stock, looking for the pop. At the same time, we've had index funds that have taken larger and larger percentages of the market. Index funds tend to outsource the governance questions, and they're outsourcing it to ISS, to Glass Lewis, and a range of other options. Those outsourced governance consultants are basically rule-bound. Nobody is able to make a judgment on what's a good investment and what is a bad investment. The result is everybody's saying we're not going to support any real long-term transformation. How does that affect our public markets? It affects our CEOs. When you have 10% of the companies in my industry that have been attacked by activists, some of these management teams aren't any good, but many of them are. What happens to those good management teams? They get more and more vulnerable. They have a sense that their companies, their long-term plans can be taken away, so they get more and more short-term. When you get short-term, what is the kind of innovation you take on? The only kind of innovation that can pay for itself in the short term is cost-cutting. And my point is, I've been talking to political leaders, I've been talking to other CEOs. People get this. And this is not good for our public marketplaces. It's not good, quite frankly, for economic growth. The result of that is GDP growth is held back. If we want to focus on GDP growth, we want to focus on driving innovation, and innovation comes from long-term decision-making. Things of value take time, as it took time in Panera. And the reality is, Panera had a phenomenal year last year. Comps were up 6%. We had very strong earnings growth. We just completed the largest U.S. restaurant deal that's ever been done at some of the highest multiples. 2 years ago, I had activists in the door, right? And 2 years ago, they were telling me to cut the very programs that drove our success, our high digital percentage at 30%, our loyalty program, our investments in catering, our investments in delivery. And I can tell you something. If I had listened to them at that point, right, we would have cut the costs and none of the things that we created would have happened. I think one of the things that we want to begin to ask as a society is, do we want to apply the same tax rates to short-term versus long-term shareholders? Should they have the same control? We're going to allow these guys to squeeze the short-term at the effect of longer-term holders. And is that good? There are proposals out there from any number of people for a longer-term stock exchange. Larry Fink of BlackRock spoke to this very question of what is the ways in which we're running these public companies. Is this really right? Andrew Ross Sorkin of the New York Times recently wrote that there were less companies that went public last year than went public at the height of the recession. Is this good? The reality is, when I went public 20 years ago, long-term money was in the public marketplace. Today, long-term money isn't in the public marketplace. The public marketplaces are short-term money. Long-term money is, frankly, in the private markets. And that's why I sold this company, to protect its ability to do long-term transformation, the kind of long-term transformation that actually made it such a success, that delivered 25% annual returns in the public marketplaces. And that's what value creation is all about.